Now, I mentioned that with a larger group, I thought it would be much more effective to have us kind of act some of this out. I think we'll still leave that kind of option on the table for those people who would like to maybe call out whiteness without maybe calling out specifically kind of whiteness, the white people. But also maybe just have a general discussion about kind of what we've seen as well. And particularly maybe begin to name some of what I did that was especially white. White folks, please don't take this as you're okay to act a fool and expect people of color to not get angry. We have every right to get angry when you fuck up. So we can again kind of look at the pyramid of oppression that I showed earlier in relation to it. And then I'm going to leave the definition of oppression here as well. And so what are your thoughts about the presentation in general, what you saw me do? In what ways was it white? So identify as a white person. I identified myself as a white person. In addition to identifying myself as a white person, I basically stood in front of the room, kind of delivered it. How does that kind of fit into it as well? I'm seeing a lot of knowing smiles. Do we want to call some of that out? If you want to act, you can act. If you want to, please feel free. But with only 5 people in the room, saying let's act suddenly would be like making everybody start to crawl and think, oh my God, they're going to make me act.
But this is what we would have done in the acting part.
In a larger group, yeah.
Like that.
Well, let's offer space. Does anybody actually want to get up and try and act it out? Act white for a second?
Not all that much, no.
Okay. Yeah. This good white, bad white dynamic sometimes exists in ways that helps to kind of reinforce these idea of white saviors within different communities. And so realizing that maybe regardless of how I perform, I still occupy a kind of a space of privilege.
I won't want to attack him as white because I don't really know him, but you're letting yourself be the victim of...
Yeah, mighty white of me, huh? This white savior complex is the white man's burden rebranded.
But it's not used as much. It's not PC anymore.
Yeah. What else? What else did we see in here that we could name as white? We've got a collective definition of whiteness. What are some of the ways that we've seen this play out in terms of kind of these white notions of leadership that we identified earlier?
The classic abuser, like, oh, you think you can do better? Well, here's the door. I don't know if that's somehow intrinsically white of him.
At this point, I was kind of open up for direct questions. So, whiteness isn't skin color, and that was something that all of you really kind of touched on. So, it's whiteness. Skin color is a marker of whiteness. So it's something that can signify to others that this person may be white, but it isn't whiteness itself. So whiteness is something that's performed, and not just performed, but it's something that we make real by performing. So I act white, and by acting white, I prove to everybody else that I'm white, and that at that point the privileges that are associated with whiteness are ones that I take on. Now, we do it for a variety of different reasons. These aren't always kind of conscious choice. Some is socialization. Some is this idea that if I don't do it, dramatic consequences will follow. And so some of it is conscious. Some of it is out of a sense of necessity, and out of kind of survival. So when we talk about whiteness being performed, we're really talking about the ways, either consciously or unconsciously, that we perform to others that privileges should be bestowed upon us. And now we're really talking about kind of the white savior complex. And so it's rebranded itself. Whiteness has said, I can't operate this way and still get away with it.
Really?
So I have to operate this way and still get away with it.